On this channel, we often like to catalog all of the legal battles that the Walt Disney Company is engaged in. Well, in this case, they finally won one. They've won an $80 million victory against the school children of Orange County. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me today is former Orange County schoolchild, VashSky. Vash, you doing all right this morning?
I'm doing just fine. I did not quite know that I went to the Orange County School District, but hey, you know what? I'm happy to be here and talk about my former stomping ground.
Apparently they're underfunded and they can't teach you geography, Vash. Come on here. Come on. Go with it. Pretend you're from a different place. Anyways, I wanted to go to this story out of the Union Bulletin, but I think it probably originally appeared in the Orlando Sentinel. And I'm just going to point out, there's nothing that I said that was incorrect, but there's a little bit of framing that's going on here, and I find it fascinating. There's political posturing that's being done here by people on both sides, and I find this kind of gamesmanship fascinating. All right, so this story: Disney court win could cost Orange County schools millions. I don't think it's a could. I think it will. But also, there's more to this story. In Disney is probably in the right. A court ruling in Disney's favor could force Orange County Public Schools to refund millions and potentially tens of millions in property taxes to the entertainment giant. The decision, handed down Monday by Judge Thomas W. Turner, followed an 8-year legal battle over claims the Orange County Property Appraiser's Office improperly calculated the taxable value of the Yacht and Beach Club, a 1,200-room Disney-owned resort and convention hotel near the Epcot theme park. They've misspelled Epcot here. It's supposed to be all caps, perhaps with periods in it. But it could have implications far beyond taxes paid on that single hotel. Vash, have you ever been to Yacht and Beach Club?
Oh, I have, yes. A beautiful resort. A series of resorts kind of along the boardwalk area there. It is amazing. Quite a stunning property, I must say.
It's one of the higher end resorts. It's not generally one they just throw out there like an art of animation and say, yeah, your kids will love it. This is a nicer resort. Of course, it's a Disney resort, so there's still that merchandising and all that kind of things that you normally see here. But this is on the higher end here, and it is rather large. Nice place. That's all I'm trying to say here. The property appraiser's assessment of the Yacht and Beach Club resort for tax years 2015 and 2016 was unconstitutional and invalid, the judge said in a 43-page decision. Wow. The appraiser substantially increased the amount of Disney's tax bill by unlawfully including value attributable to Disney's intangible property, namely the value of the Disney brand, its managerial skills, and workforce. Okay, so here's the thing I'm going to say. Based on that framing, I agree with the judge, and I agree with Disney that it is ridiculous to put the value of the Disney brand on top of it, because this is a very nice resort, but no one can use that Disney branding if it goes to someone else. It has no value. It cannot be used by someone else. So therefore, it has no monetary value to anyone but Disney. So you don't receive that in trade if you happen to buy this resort. Or if, let's say, this property tax bill goes unpaid and it changes hands through government seizure, the government cannot use the Disney logo without being sued by the Disney company. So I'm going to say, I agree here. Vash, you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, no, I actually agree with you wholeheartedly here. And this is an interesting story because Disney has always attempted to, argue that its property taxes are far too high, that its appraised value is too high. It's very interesting because usually that's dedicated to the entire Walt Disney World Resort property. I've never really seen them argue individual properties within this. So this is quite fascinating to me.
Yep. Well, it could have broader implications, as we'll continue to read. A total refund has not yet been calculated by Orange County tax collector Scott Randolph, said Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. Could be due, Scott Randolph said that Walt Disney Parks and Resorts could be due $2 million for property taxes it paid on the hotel in 2015 and 2016, the years that were the basis for the lawsuit. But Disney could get a whole lot more, as much as $80 million if the ruling is applied to all its resorts, Randolph said. Technically, the ruling only applies to Yacht and Beach Club and only for those 2 years, but the disagreement on which it's based upon, the valuation determination, is the basis for all their litigation on all the hotels of Disney since 2015, otherwise known as like 8 years ago. 9 years ago now, if we're counting 2024. Randolph, a party to the case in his role as the elected tax collector, said he alerted school officials a year ago that the litigation wasn't going well and encouraged them to set aside money in the case in case the ultimate decision favored Disney. Luckily, they did, he said. So here's the kicker. Orange County Public Schools put away $80 million in order to make sure that they were prepared just in case this went in favor of Disney. By the way, that's reasonable, but looking at how all of this goes right here, that is, it has to be done this way because of Florida state law. But if you're positioning this as Disney not wanting to fight it or trying to make it so Disney is scared off, what would be the headline you would want to appear in the papers if Disney won this legal battle? That Disney was. Go ahead.
Well, I would think that Disney, takes children's money right out from underneath them, or something to that effect.
And I'm not trying to say that the school district there doesn't need $80 million, and it seems like it's over many years here, but that's a lot of money. So they put away $80 million, and the amount Randolph said was the equivalent of paying a $6,000 retention bonus to every teacher in the district or building about 3 new elementary schools. School officials did not respond to a request for comment on Tuesday. Neither did Disney or its lead counsel, Robert E.V. Kelly Jr. of Tampa. I hope he's weathering the storm well. An appeal is under consideration, said Ana C. Torres, general counsel of the Orange County property appraiser Amy Mercado. Randolph said he worries other hotel owners might try a similar strategy to cut their tax bill. I'm sorry?
Apparently other proprietors in the area have access to the Disney name. Didn't you know this, Jonas?
That is, I'm trying to think who, are we talking about Universal and the Universal branding here? Also, Universal doesn't brand their hotels in nearly the same way. Maybe Lego, the ones at Cypress Gardens, but I don't know. Are they Orange County? I think is Winter Haven within Orange County. I need to actually look that up. I don't know where the county property line falls there. There is a Lego themed hotel there. I'm trying to think who else is really doing this, but I'm going to say it's flat out wrong for them to assess intangibles on top in determining this value here, because again, no one else can use it, so it essentially has no value. It's not like one of these, oh, well, this is the room where Walt stayed, and we're going to market it as the room where Walt stayed, or that they're going to market it as a former Disney hotel. It's just a nice hotel. I'm speaking of Yacht and Beach Club at this point. I don't know. This is very tenuous to me. Now, we've often got on Disney about overreach when it comes to SIFTOD and the fact that I don't know that they ever used it, but they had the power of eminent domain, which means that they could take property that did not belong to them and was not within the Reedy Creek. Sorry, I said SIFTOD. I meant Reedy Creek. They had the power to take property that was not within Reedy Creek in order to improve Reedy Creek. Now, I don't know that they ever used that power because I think they would end up losing it, much as they did when they went up against the state of Florida. But this is, I think this is stepping over the line, and I'm going to say this property tax case, Disney's in the right here. Vash, do you have any thoughts on this?
Oh yes, and now it's very unfortunate that it implicates the children of Orange County. That is very, very sad. At the same time, though, I mean, hotel owners might try a similar strategy to cut their tax bill. Yes, they should. If the allegation is that they're being over appraised by a substantial amount, yeah, that's probably should happen. Now, look, I no love loss for Disney if they're doing something wrong and if the state slaps them on the wrist kind of thing. But this isn't that situation. I do think that they were a little bit they went a bit too far when trying to figure out Disney's tax burden in this instance, and it is unfortunate that those taxes, I suppose, were actually paid out, and that there were budgets attached to this, but that's just kind of how that goes, unfortunately.
Yep. This is a good line right here. Disney lawyers filed this particular challenge in 2016 after the assessed value of the resort property jumped 118% from 154 million as of January 1st, 2014 to 336 million as of January 1st, 2015, although there were no material renovation or was no material renovation or expansion. Disney sued then property appraiser Rick Singh, who had lumped Disney among the fat cats he was fighting to force them to pay their fair share. Singh then lost in 2022 Amy Mercado, who won a second term in August when the candidate challenging her reelection withdrew. To me, this is just government overreach, and I'm going to say something that is vaguely political here. I think property tax should be unconstitutional. It is essentially a wealth tax, and I get it that they're used to fund schools, and that's probably the only reason they don't get fought that much. But if you continue existing, you will have and happen to own property, you will get property tax, as opposed to engaging in commerce. Probably needs to be the thing that inspires taxes. The little old lady who has no money should be able to live in the house that she owns without having to pay the government a property tax, without the threat of everything that she owns and her home being taken away from her. Therefore, that protection needs to be applied to large corporations as well. I just think property tax is a ridiculous concept here. So if we could offer that protection to one person, especially a little old lady, let's say she's a widow in her 90s and she doesn't understand all this stuff. Let's say she misses her she doesn't check her mail for a while and just doesn't see the property tax bill or doesn't understand the property tax bill, that she doesn't need everything she owns taken away from her. Then that by nature of the what do you say, the transitive property. Okay, well, that benefits Disney a little bit at the same time. I don't know. Vash, I've gone political here, so maybe save me from myself.
Well, I share your same sentiments when it comes to property tax and income tax as well. That's a whole other story. It says right here, Mercado's lawyer submitted a brief last month arguing that Disney had, quote, enjoyed many years of artificially low assessments and insisting that the increase in 2015 corrected that error going forward. Well, that you can't really do that. You can't really raise taxes by 118% because we wanted to go ahead and right or wrong or whatever. It's like, that's kind of tough. I'm sure you can incrementally increase those, and I'm sure they would. But to have that large of a jump within 1 year, I don't think that's necessarily fair for any property owner. That includes Disney in
right.
this case.
I totally agree, and it's like when California was contemplating whether or not to have a trailing tax if you left the state, that you would still be liable for the next I don't know how many years. A certain percentage of your income if you left the state because of the high tax burdens.
I think it was 10 years.
Yeah, it's it is patently ridiculous, and it's meant to attack a certain fact pattern. Well, the taxes need to be paid around a reasonable fact pattern, and if people avoid that fact pattern, then tax the fact pattern. Sorry, I'm getting into tax law, which is a little bone that I have to pick with the state and local governments of the United States, also the federal government, but whatever. It's a pet issue of mine here. All right, with that being said, we want to throw this to our commenters. We rarely make videos in full support of what Disney is doing here. I'm going to say they might have had artificially low property taxes. They might have. Maybe it needed to go up a little bit. And instead, they went for this insane overreach of taxing intangibles and goodwill. Not goodwill in the way that you or I would count it, but in the way that a balance sheet does. That being said, like this video. If you like this video, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you don't mind, if you could think about it, maybe slip your cursor over there and click that subscribe button, Consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.